My beloved child, listen to me in this moment, for the place where you stand today is not a meaningless pause in the drifting stream of life. This is a sacred threshold, a moment I have prepared through the days that seem most ordinary to you, through the nights when you endured in silence, and through the times when you had to walk in tears with no one understanding, before you knew how to name your dreams, before you drew your first breath in this world. I had already seen this day of yours. I saw you standing before a new gate, your heart both trembling and hoping, both longing to step forward and fearing that you were not yet ready. But my child, readiness in my eyes is not the same as what you often imagine. You do not need to be free of fear before you can walk. You only need to believe that I am walking with you. My word says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. Psalm 32:8. And today, that eye is still resting upon you with all the tenderness of a father who never loses his child. Perhaps you have looked back over the years that have passed and wondered why you had to go through so many turns, why some roads were so dark that you could not see what lay ahead, why there were seasons when your heart seemed crushed between silence and waiting. But, my beloved child, those roads have never been wasted in my hands. What you called delay, I used to form perseverance. What you called loss, I used to teach you what truly remains. What you called loneliness, I used to draw you closer to my heart, so that you would know that in the deepest place of your soul, you still have an unchanging refuge. Not one of your tears has fallen without my seeing it. Not one of your sighs has faded away without my hearing it. As it is written, you have kept count of my tossings, put my tears in your bottle. Psalm 56:8. Do you see? Even the tears you thought had been forgotten are kept by me as a testimony of a journey I am transforming. Therefore, do not call your past the place of ending. It is only the land I led you through in order to prepare your feet for a wider road. There are chapters of life that made you think you had fallen. Yet in truth, I was teaching you how to rise with a strength that does not come from pride, but from grace. There were storms that made you think you would break apart. Yet in truth, I was causing you to recognize that the roots of faith do not rest on ground easily shaken, but are planted deep in my heart. When you were forced to release what no longer belonged to you, I was emptying your hands so I could place something purer within them. When you had to leave familiar places, I was leading you to a new land where your soul would be restored and your vision enlarged. Do not be afraid when I change the rhythm of your life. Sometimes outward disruption is the sign that an inward healing has begun. Remember Abraham, the one I called to leave his homeland, his relatives, and his father's house to go to a land he did not yet know. I did not lay the whole map before him, nor did I explain every turn of the journey. But I gave him a promise, and that promise was enough for him to walk. Go from your country, your people and your father's household to the land I will show you. Genesis 12:1. My beloved child, there are doors that open only to those who dare to obey before seeing the whole road. There are blessings that are found only when you leave the land of fear, habit, and old things behind. Abraham did not walk because he knew every detail. He walked because he knew the one who called him was faithful. And today, I call you in the same way. Rise. Step forward. And do not let what has passed hold you in the place I have told you to leave. My child, I know there is a voice whispering within you that you are not strong enough, not wise enough, not worthy enough to enter the new season. But that voice is not mine. I do not call you because you are perfect. I call you because I have placed within you the seed of what I desire to do. I do not open a gate before you, only to leave you alone in a wide and unfamiliar place. When I open a door, I also give the grace to walk through it. When I lead you into a new season, I also clothe you with new strength. My word reminds you, see, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. Revelation 3:8. If that door comes from me, then no judgment, no fear, and no darkness has the authority to lock what I have opened for your life. But you must understand that stepping into a new season does not mean carrying every old burden with you. There are pains that need to be laid down. There are voices that once made you feel small that must be left behind. There are memories you no longer need to hold against your chest as proof that you have been wounded. I am not asking you to deny what happened. I am asking you not to let what happened rule your future. Learn from the people of Israel as they stood before the Red Sea. Behind them was Egypt in pursuit. Before them was water that seemed impossible to cross. Yet I spoke through Moses, "Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today." Exodus 14:13. And when the appointed hour came, I divided the sea. My beloved child, there are red seas in your life that will not part while you remain in panic, but they will open as you obey and move forward in faith. I have seen every sleepless night, every time you wiped away your own tears, every moment when you wanted to give up, yet still held on to one small flame of hope. I have not taken those hidden battles lightly. In my eyes, your perseverance rises like a fragrance before my throne. The trials you endured were not meant to destroy you, but to strip away the layers of fear that hid the true person I created you to be. You are no longer the child who only trembles before the storm. You are learning to stand firm in me. You are no longer the one who sees only the abyss. You are learning to see the Father's hand above that abyss. Each time you overcome, even by one very small step, your soul is enlarged to hold greater peace, wisdom, and mercy. So when the gate opens, do not remain outside, doubting what I have done. Do not look back to negotiate with the place that exhausted you. Do not let the past call you by names I have already erased. People may remember you by the times you stumbled, but I call you by the new name of grace. People may say, you are late, but I say, my timing has ripened. People may look at you and see scars, but I look at you and see a witness of healing. Believe that nothing in your life is outside my care. Even the most confusing chapters are being woven by me into a beautiful tapestry. Though today you may see only the underside with tangled threads. Now rise in peace, not as someone who must prove their strength, but as a child who knows the Father has gone before them to prepare the way. Step forward, not in haste, but in pure trust. Let my word illuminate each step. Let my presence guard your mind, and let hope replace the old lament. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Isaiah 40:31. My beloved child, the old season taught you many things, but it has no right to imprison you forever. The gate is open. Grace is calling. I am holding your hand. Step forward and do not look back. For ahead of you is not merely a new road, but a restored, reborn, and lifted version of yourself in my everlasting love. My beloved child, hear me speak to you with a voice both gentle and full of power. You did not come this far only to stop at the threshold of the promise. You have passed through too many long nights, swallowed too much pain in silence, and sown tears that only I have seen. Will you now return to the old shadow of fear? No. My child, I did not lead you through the valley so that you would pitch your tent in the valley. I did not bring you through the fire so that you would live forever in the smell of the smoke of the past. I kept you through seasons that seemed like breaking, not so that you would become one who merely survives, but so that you would rise as a witness of grace. My word has said, no one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God. Luke 9:62. This is not meant to frighten you, but to remind you that some sacred journeys require you to move forward with an undivided heart, no longer clinging to the place from which I have rescued you. There were doors that once closed before you and made your heart ache as though your very worth had been rejected. There were no's that echoed through your life and caused you to wonder whether you were seen, loved, or chosen. There were seasons of waiting so long that you thought the promise had turned into silence, and hope was only a small lamp trembling before the wind. But, my beloved child, what I withhold is not always loss. Many times, it is the protection of a father who sees farther than your eyes can see. A closed door may be offensive grace. A rejection may be my hand pulling you away from a path that was not meant for you. And a delay may be the furnace where I make your soul deep enough to carry something greater. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him. Romans 8:28. I do not say that all things are pleasant, but I promise that in my hands, even what hurt you can be woven into a good purpose. A time will come when you look back and no longer ask why, because your own story will answer with light. You will understand why I did not allow you to enter the place you once begged for with tears. You will understand why certain people had to leave, certain plans had to break open, and certain roads had to close before you could set your foot upon them. It was not because I rejected you, nor because you were forgotten, but because what I have prepared for you cannot be placed upon the old foundation of fear, dependency, and self-doubt. What I am about to do through you is not a fleeting sparkle that gives you brief joy and then leaves you dry again. I am leading you into a season with depth, a gift bearing the mark of heaven, a light not borrowed from human praise, but rising from my presence within you, like the sun rising after a long night. What I do will not need to shout to prove itself. It will shine by my faithfulness. Remember Joseph, the young man who received a dream from me, yet was thrown into a pit, sold away, falsely accused, and forgotten in a prison. If Joseph had measured the promise by the circumstances before his eyes, he might have thought that the dream had been nothing more than an illusion. But I never left him in the pit, never left him in the house of strangers, never left him in the cold cell. I was using those hidden years to form within him a heart wise enough, tender enough, and steady enough for the day he would stand before Pharaoh. When the time I appointed arrived, no one could keep him in prison. My child, what others used to harm Joseph, I turned into a path that saved many people. He himself said, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Genesis 50:20. And I say the same to you. The things that once hurt you do not have the right to write the final chapter of your life. I am the one holding the pen. In the days ahead, you will begin to recognize the gentle traces of my hand. It may be a meeting that seems accidental but carries timely confirmation. It may be a door you thought had closed forever, now opening in a way that is more peaceful, clearer, and more aligned with the right time. It may be a word from someone who knows nothing of your hidden story, yet touches the very place where you prayed with tears. It may be an opportunity that does not arrive with noise, but deep within your heart there is a quiet assurance that I am leading your steps. Ava, so do not seek only outward signs and forget the greatest miracle I am doing within you. For the deepest miracle is not always the door opening before your eyes, but your heart no longer trembling as it once did when standing before that door. I am renewing you from the roots. You will see that you no longer react out of the old fear. The words that once shook you will no longer bring you down so easily. The silences that once made you panic will no longer cause you to rush into lowering your worth. The delays that once made you question my love will become places where you learn peace. You will no longer cling to what makes you small simply because you fear loneliness. You will no longer ask others to confirm what I have spoken over your life. You will no longer return to false shelters simply because the road ahead requires courage. For I am teaching you who you are in me. And when that identity is placed where it belongs, the winds of life can no longer uproot your soul from the firm foundation. You belong to me, my beloved child. Let those words sink deeper than every voice that ever made you doubt yourself. You do not belong to past failure. You do not belong to human rejection. You do not belong to the wounds that once defined you in darkness. You belong to me, the one who called you by name and said, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine." Isaiah 43:1. When you truly know whose you are, you will no longer live like a wanderer begging for fragments of recognition. You will walk as a child who was loved before the foundation of the world, upheld by a hand that never grows weary, and covered by a promise that never decays. Then, though circumstances may still change, your heart will have a place that cannot be moved. But I also want you to understand that stepping into a new season does not mean everything will immediately become easy. Great blessings still require great maturity. Some doors open, but you must walk through them with a watchful mind, a humble heart, and hands no longer clinging to the past. Do not bring old fear into the new room. Do not use old wounds to interpret everything I am about to do. Do not let the memory of past rejection make you suspicious of invitations that come from me. A new season requires a new spirit, a new vision, a new obedience. I am not only changing the circumstances around you, I am changing the way you walk within those circumstances. That is the sign of true maturity. Not that you never face storms again, but that even in the storm, you know you are anchored in me. Therefore, stand upright in peace, not with pride, but with the trust of a child lifted by the Father. Do not look back and count what was lost as though it were greater than what I am about to give. Do not look at the place where a door once closed as though it holds the final authority over your life. I am the door. I am the way. I am the one who opens what no one can shut. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. Let this become your breath in this season. The new thing does not always come with thunder. Sometimes it begins as a strange quietness in the heart, as a decision to no longer belittle yourself, as one firm step out of the place where grace has ended. You have come too far to return to old chains. You have cried too much to give up right before the dawn. You have trusted me too deeply to return to a small place of safety simply because it is familiar. Step forward, my beloved child, because ahead of you is not only what you have prayed for, but also the person I am causing you to become. Then you will see, every closed door cannot prevent the door I open. Every rejection cannot cancel the word by which I chose you. Every year of waiting cannot make my promise arrive late. I am with you in every small sign, in every hidden movement, in every deep transformation of your heart. And when you pass through that threshold, you will not walk as the old self anymore. You will walk as a soul restored, a child who knows they belong to the Father, a lamp lit not to fade away, but to shine by my eternal Son. My beloved child, when you feel your heart swaying like a small boat on the sea at night, do not quickly conclude that you are failing, and do not blame yourself for not being as strong as you once hoped. There are moments when I allow you to recognize your own limits, not to shame you, but to lead you away from depending on the weak arm of the flesh, and to teach you to rest your head upon my eternal strength. Many times you have tried to stand firm by your own will, tried to smile while breaking within. I tried to keep walking when the feet of your soul were worn out. I have seen it all. My child, I have heard the sighs you hid behind silence. seen the nights when you turned your face into the darkness and did not know whom to call, and known the questions you did not dare to speak because you feared your faith was too small. But today, I gently say to you, weakness does not distance you from me. Instead, if you offer it to me, that very weakness becomes the doorway through which my power enters. Do not think that I am near you only when you are courageous, joyful, and full of faith. I am not a father who loves you only on the days when you stand upright, sing loudly, and do everything correctly. I am also near you when you tremble, when you do not understand the road, when your prayer is only a choked sob. My word has said, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Psalm 34:18. Therefore, if today you are hurting, I do not turn away. If today you are confused, I do not rebuke you for not yet seeing everything. If today you have only enough strength to whisper my name, even that whisper has touched my heart as a precious prayer. You do not need to pretend to be strong before me. I know you from the deepest hidden place. And I love you, even in the parts you thought no one could love. There are trials you are facing that make you feel you will be crushed. But my beloved child, hear me. I do not allow the fire to pass through your life to consume you, but to refine the precious thing I have placed within you. A silversmith does not take his eyes off the furnace, for if the silver is left too long, it will be ruined. So it is with me. I do not take my eyes off you in any trial. When you feel your strength has run out, that is not a sign that I have abandoned you, but an invitation to receive strength that does not come from the earth, but from heaven. It is written, "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint." Isaiah 40:31. I do not promise that you will never have to walk a long road, but I promise that when you wait upon me, I will give you new strength at the right time, enough for each step, enough for each day, enough for every stretch of road you thought you could not cross. My child, I know there are times when you stand before the future as though standing before a great mountain. You look up and see only steep slopes, sharp stones, and thick clouds, while your heart wonders how you can keep going. But I am not asking you to lift the whole mountain with your small hands. I am only calling you to take one step in trust. When you do not have strength to look far ahead, hold my hand for the next step. When you do not have wisdom to understand the whole plan, cling to the word I have promised. When you have no words left to pray, let my presence embrace you in silence. You think I only work when you see an obvious miracle, but in truth, I am also working in the moments when you feel nothing. I keep you from what you do not know. I make a way where you cannot yet see. I gather the broken pieces you thought were lost, and from them I build a testimony of grace. Remember Gideon, the man who once hid in a winepress because he feared the enemy. In his own eyes, he was small, weak, and unworthy of being called. He saw his clan as lowly, himself as inadequate, and his circumstances as impossible. Yet I sent an angel to him and called him by a name he did not yet dare to believe. The Lord is with you. Mighty warrior, Judges 6:12. Do you see? I do not call you according to your fear, nor do I define you by your present trembling. I call you according to what I have placed within you. Gideon did not become strong because he suddenly had enough confidence. He stepped into his calling because I was with him. So it is with you, my beloved child. What makes you stand firm is not that you never fear, but that in the midst of fear, you still hear my voice saying, I am with you. So when you are weak, do not run from me. When you are confused, do not lock yourself inside dark thoughts. Bring everything before me, your weariness, your disappointment, your wounds, and even the questions that have no answers yet. I am not afraid of the truth within your heart. I am not offended by your tears. I do not reject you because you are not yet steady enough. I am the Father of mercies, the God of all comfort, and I know how to lift you without breaking you further. When you fall, I do not stand far away and look at you coldly. I bend down. When you cannot stand by yourself, I reach out my hand. When you feel that you have come to the end of your endurance, I open within you a new source of strength that you could never create on your own. For my word has said, I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Isaiah 41:10. My beloved child, do not let the enemy whisper that you are alone in this battle. He wants you to believe that no one understands, no one saves, and no one will arrive in time. But I saw you before you knew how to name your pain. I heard you before your lips formed words. I prepared grace for you before the trial ever appeared before your eyes. No battle of yours is invisible to me. No tear falls outside my care. No darkness is so deep that my arm cannot reach into it. You are not a soldier abandoned on the battlefield. You are my beloved child, sheltered under my wings. Though the storm may roar around you, I can still speak to the sea within your heart and say, be still. And the peace I give is not a fragile peace dependent on circumstances, but a peace that surpasses all understanding, guarding your heart and your thoughts in me. If you feel you cannot take another step, pause in me, but do not stop in despair. There is a difference between resting in the Father's arms and giving up in the darkness. I allow you to rest. For even a holy road needs pauses where the soul may be restored. But I do not want you to call weariness your destiny, nor to treat a moment of weakness as your identity. You are not your failure. You are not your wound. You are not the worst day you have ever lived through. You are one whom I love. Call, lift, and lead onward. And when I hold your hand, even the smallest step becomes a step forward in grace. Then the day will come when you look back on the days you thought you could not survive and realize that I was there in every detail. I was in the person who sent you a word of comfort at just the right time. I was in the strange peace that appeared in the middle of confusion. I was in the closed door that protected you. I was in the open door that appeared when you thought every path had ended. I was in the quiet strength that helped you wake up for one more day. Pray one more time. Forgive a little more. And hope one more step. You will understand that my deliverance does not always come like thunder. Sometimes it comes like a gentle hand placed beneath your chin, lifting your face so you can see the dawn. Therefore, my beloved child, do not fear your weakness. Let it lead you closer to me. Do not despise the moments when you feel helpless, for it is there that you learn, I am Almighty. Do not despair when you do not yet know what to do, for I am the one who knows the way through the wilderness, the streams in the desert, and the path through the deep sea. I will not leave you in trial without giving sufficient grace. I will not let you fight alone when I myself have called you my child. Take my hand, even if your hand is trembling. Look up to me, even if your eyes are still wet. Keep walking in me, even if your steps are slow, for I am lifting you, healing you, and strengthening you with a love that never runs dry. And you will see that what seemed as though it would make you collapse becomes the very place where I reveal my power, so that from the depths of your soul, a gentle yet steadfast testimony will rise. I was weak, but the Father strengthened me. I was confused, but the Father guided me. I thought I was alone, but the Father never left me, not even for a single moment.